are you today?
Pregnancy's a little rough, but we'll get there.
Yes. Well, we can talk about that. Is it okay if I close the door?
Yes.
Well, my name is Ava. It's nice to meet you. What was your name?
Eleanor.
Eleanor. Okay, nice to meet you, Eleanor. So, I have a wax melt. How are you with smells? Is that okay, or do you want me to turn it off?
The pregnancy's kind of been affecting me, so I'll let you know if I have problems after.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we can always adjust. Would you like some water?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Small bladder. Baby likes to use my uterus as a pillow.
Yes, I'm sure. So, yeah, you can feel free to make yourself at home. I have some toys and fidgets there if you feel the need to use one. That's no problem. So, let's get started, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So today, basically, we're just going to be chatting. I'll be asking you a few questions, and we're just going to be basically seeing if the group home and you would be a good fit together.
Okay.
So we'll start out pretty light, but some of the questions might get a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. So feel free to adjust how you need to, and yeah, we can just communicate about that when the time comes, okay? So before we get started, I will just say that anything you say in this meeting is confidential. I'm not going to go telling anyone, so it'll stay between us. The exceptions would be if we talk about anything about child abuse, meaning if there is a minor that is experiencing that or facing that or feeling threatened of that, then we would need to report that. And if you disclose anything about feeling the need or having already imposed harm to yourself or harm to others. So those would be the things that would not stay confidential, but everything else will just stay between you and me, okay? Okay. All right. So, I know you were referred by DCS.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit with me about why you think that referral took place?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, I'm 7 months pregnant. Teen pregnancy is a little rough. It can be a little challenging at times.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in and out of foster cares a few times over the last year, and that was because I suffered some serious mental substance and neglect in my home from my mother, which I'm really, really concerned specifically for my baby, obviously, and just the welfare of myself and even my sisters, that I would take care of it from time to time.
Mm-hmm. So you said your mother was dealing with substance use?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. That is helpful. So can we talk a little bit about who you view as your family supports?
Yeah, of course. Well, the goal at the end of this case, obviously I can't at the moment, is to stay with my father and stepmother. They've been really supportive about the baby and making sure that I'm taken care of. But also, my boyfriend has been a really big support in his family along this journey and this trying time as we go through this very new development.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. It sounds like you have some people in your life that you can talk to about this and that are supporting you through this, so that's really good. Would you say those answers have changed since the pregnancy, or since we found out about the pregnancy? Like, how would those answers have been different 7 months ago?
I think the only big change might have been I found a teacher that's really being supportive throughout this whole process when that first came to light at school specifically, which can be hard as a pregnant teen to go to school every day.
Yeah.
But my dad and my stepmom have been really, really supportive through the whole process.
Good. And that was something that you expected?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. All right, so just trucking right along here, let's talk about your current support system. So we talked a little bit about your family, talked about your father and your stepmother, your boyfriend, that teacher, that have all been supportive of you. Do you feel like, is there anyone else, or are those the same sort of people that you, when you have a problem, do you talk to them? When you have a victory, do you talk to them? Or is there anyone else sort of involved in that?
Yeah. I think specifically, obviously, my boyfriend going through this whole process, when we found out about the baby, and he's been at every appointment, so it's good to know that he's there if we have complications.
Yeah.
I also, just knowing that my dad's there to support me, even though he's on the other side, in a different state. It's really nice to know that he's willing to take me in, even in the state that I'm in, during this whole process and this whole case.
Yeah. So you said your father's in a different state. Where exactly is he at right now?
He's in Minnesota.
Okay. So you mentioned your teacher. Are you still in school right now? In high school?
I think for the moment we're trying to get through as much as I can so that when I do take time, it's more maternity leave to spend with the baby. As you can tell, I'm not having the hardest time getting up and walking around. I am only 7 months. Maybe when we hit that 9 month mark, we'll consider a pullout or not.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're hoping that maybe I can just continue online. Because I do want to graduate and get through.
Yeah.
I am only in 10th grade, so we've got a couple more years to go, and so.
Yeah. And then, how do you feel like you're doing in school?
Well, I think definitely attendance has been a hard thing for me, specifically just, with all the doctor appointments and with the DCS case, it spends a lot of time, talking with other people and moving homes and things like that. So I think if I struggle with anything the most, it's being attentive and attendant at school, and the morning sickness has been a real struggle.
Okay, thanks for sharing that with me. Okay, Eleanor, let's talk about your family just a little bit more. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 younger sisters that live with my mother.
Okay. Do you consider them a part of your family support system?
I think I end up being their support system, if anything more. My mother's often absent from home, and so I very much took on that extra role as being the big sister to take care of them. And as much as they're excited about the baby, it's really hard to consider them a part of that when you're more or less theirs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I have just a diagram of what your family looks like from what we've discussed here today. Were your parents ever married?
I believe at one point,
Okay.
not that I can remember, it would have been maybe when I was 5 or 6 when they got divorced.
Yeah. Okay. And so how long have your dad and your stepmom been married?
Quite a while, maybe when I was in junior high. They started meeting and then they got married shortly after.
Okay, so a few years now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, that's all very helpful. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your health history. can you describe for me what that looks like now during pregnancy?
I think my health's definitely at its highest, if that makes sense. Lots of doctor visits, lots of prenatal vitamins. Boyfriend's been really supportive of keeping me on a very nutritious track. Obviously for the health of the baby, with everything going on, we wanted to really prioritize that it was getting everything that it needed. So I would say I'm at my highest level of health because I'm caring for two.
Yeah. So, when you go to these doctor's appointments, are you under your parents' insurance?
I think at the moment I'm under my own. I filed for my own shortly after finding the pregnancy out because the DCS court had become an issue.
Okay. Okay, great. And then how do you feel about having to take that time? Like, maybe have you missed school at all to go to any doctor's appointments, or had to just reprioritize some certain things?
Yes, for sure. I've missed quite a few, on top of not feeling well in the morning or things like that. And even my boyfriend has missed a few being at the appointments. But we really do think it's important to prioritize the health of the baby, especially very early on in the kind of motion. And so I don't see it as more or less missing out on anything, just struggling to keep up with things inside the classroom, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a really good job of prioritizing the baby, which is really good to hear. All right, we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a transition here. Let's talk about your employment history a little bit. So, are you currently working?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been working?
No.
Okay. And then tell me a little bit about what your parents do.
My mother is been off and on the job for years, whether it be working at a late night gas station or working at a local grocery store. She really has a hard time keeping a job and keeping kind of stable income for the family. I did have a job maybe a couple months prior to finding out about the baby, but immediately dropped it when everything happened. My dad has had a really nice business job. He's currently helping run a company that he started a little before, I think a couple years after he left my mom. And he's really, really well off, and he's been helping a lot with the financial needs. And boyfriend took on a part-time job to kind of help provide transportation and things.
Okay. So, where did you say you were working before you found out about the baby?
I think it was a small grocery store, maybe bagging, something simple like that.
Okay, yeah.
First 15-year-old job, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so is your main form of transportation with your boyfriend?
Yes, at the moment.
Okay. Are you working towards getting your driver's license?
I have considered it. Everything right now is just kind of put on hold because of the baby, and we're trying to keep as little stress as possible at the moment. But yes, I hope to, as soon as the baby's well enough, that I can learn so that it's easier.
Yeah, that's a good goal. So how old is your boyfriend?
16.
Okay. Sounds good. And then are you receiving, or is anyone in your family receiving any type of welfare benefits from the state or federally?
My mother is receiving a good chunk of benefits for me and my sisters because she did receive full custody of us, and my father's also putting forward some child care.
Okay. All right, so we're going to transition now into the more, I don't want to say probing questions, but the questions that we're trying to get at a little bit of deeper things now. So yeah, if you ever need to take a minute, if you need water, if you need to step out, just, you can let me know. And then yeah, we will go from there. So first we're going to talk about any religious or spiritual background. Just to let you know, I am a Christian, but the purpose of this question is not for me to minister to you or to try to convert you in any way, but just to sort of understand where you're coming from, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's talk about, do you consider yourself to be affiliated with a religion?
No, obviously not. I did have sex with my boyfriend before marriage, and I know that's a big no-no for you people.
Okay. And then is there anyone in your family who is affiliated with religion?
No, I didn't grow up in that kind of household. My parents got divorced because they decided they just didn't care about each other anymore, and my mother's been in and out of the home for years, so.
Okay. And then what about your cultural history? So do you have any like family traditions, holidays that you celebrate together, or overall ways of behavior that your family partakes in?
No, not since my parents split. We've done the traditional, like, you get me this year, you get me next year kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Dad was obviously a little bit more giving than Mom always was. Mom was either halfway gone or gone completely from the house, so.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I grew up with any fun childhood memories waiting for Santa Claus to come down the chimney.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, yeah, I imagine that must have felt different than maybe some other kids seemed like they were experiencing at home. Do you have a desire currently to sort of break those traditions for you and your baby, or start celebrating holidays together?
Yeah, obviously I want my kid to grow up in a safe and healthy home, and so I want him to have everything in life that I don't have. Even if it's small little birthday presents and things like that, I want him to grow up with a better childhood than I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about any legal history. So have you ever been involved with probation or law enforcement in any way?
No.
Okay. Has anyone in your family ever been involved?
More than once my mom was brought home by the police officers after a night of missing. Yes, and even a few times I had to call her in because she was gone for days at a time.
Would you say those things are sort of isolated to that one side of the family, your mom's side?
Well, I think because I don't spend a whole lot of time with my dad, it was a few weekends, maybe a week here or there, I would say maybe that, but definitely my mom had the more majority of it, if anything.
Okay. Yeah.
And specifically the custody battle was a big memory for me. Sitting in courtrooms for long hours at a time is not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine that was not fun for anyone. Okay. Can you tell me, is there any history of substance use in your family?
Yes, my mom's always been a little off of it. I think she had major surgery a while back and something about the medication.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was a big reason why my dad left. He just couldn't support it.
And this can even include legal substance use, like alcohol or smoking cigarettes. Was there any of that either?
I can say maybe when I was younger we had quite a lot of house parties where it was present.
Okay.
And even now, maybe here or there.
Okay. Do you feel like you are equipped to be able to keep those things away from your baby when he's born? Or do you feel like you might need support in that way?
Well, obviously I don't want my baby to grow up in a manner this way, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really far along way from being able to participate in any of that, even now. I can't really say what it'll look like. 8 months ago I didn't think I would be doing this, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That's good to know that we can keep exploring different ways we can support you in the future too. Okay, so as we go along here, just one more question before we get into sort of our goals for you and what those are going to look like. But before we go any further, I do just want to ask if you feel safe in sort of the environments that you're in, your home, when you're with your dad, when you're with your mom, when you're at school.
I definitely don't feel safe in my mom's home. There's a reason I've been bouncing around between foster cares here and there the past 3 years. I can say some foster homes maybe felt more comforting, but I'm a 15-year-old walking around 7 months pregnant. I mean, you're gonna have some stares either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, where are you staying currently? Before we can get you in.
Bouncing around foster homes. I've been sitting in one at the moment. Just waiting. We're trying to find a better fit at the moment. This current foster home is not exactly comforting to the idea of a teen mom. I think they spoke about the new one would be other teen moms struggling the same kind of mentality, and so they thought it would be better for me and the baby.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I can assure you that we'll be very sympathetic to your situation here and try to help you out however we can. Are there any other imminent risk issues that I should know about, or things that are just on your mind, if it has to deal with safety or otherwise, that we can talk about?
I think a lot of the reason we've been moving me in and around is my mom keeps finding me, which is a part of the reason why we want the case to kind of finish up. And she's really been not supportive of the baby when she found out. But she's been very, very unsupportive of the baby and the whole relationship, and I'm very concerned for what she might do if she were to get too angry in a bad moment, specifically like the baby.
Yeah. tell me about any instances when she has lashed out. Is that something that is common when she does find you at these foster homes?
Typically, we've never had a full face off. The foster parents have always been really good about
Okay.
keeping her at bay, but there has been some very loud screaming matches and a couple of rude social media posts and DMs that she just happens to find, and a few times at school where she came drunk and just tried to really lash out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear those things. We'll definitely talk about addressing those things and putting things in place so that it becomes less of a concern for you and the baby. Okay, so based on everything that we've talked about, or if there's anything that you feel like we haven't touched on adequately, we can discuss those things too. But right now, what do you see as your main goals? So things that are lacking that we feel like would be helpful, such as do we want to work on your relationship with your mom? Is the main thing that we have a safe place for you and the baby to be? Things like that. What stands out to you right now?
I mean, obviously the baby. We want to take care of the baby first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rekindle with my mom. I've been dealing with this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And she's obviously not going to be supportive, so why would it change now? There's no reason to rekindle a relationship she doesn't care about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else that you think we might need to work on? If you do come into the group home that we can sort of start with and focus on initially?
Not particularly.
Okay, yeah, cool. So, I have here just taking care of the baby, number one, and then also finding a way to sort of distance yourself from your mom so that we aren't feeling unsafe. I heard you say that you don't have a desire to sort of work on that relationship, which is totally fine. I completely understand. So, would you agree that in order for you and your baby to feel safe, we need to create that distance between you and your mom?
Yes, for sure. I have no idea how she would react when the baby gets here, and I don't need that to worsen.
Okay.
Especially when she found out my dad was involved, she flipped out and threw a chair at me.
Okay. Yeah, so that can definitely be something that we focus on before the baby is born, so that it doesn't flare up when the baby comes. Okay. Okay, so now I just want to talk a little bit about what we're facing as far as some strengths and like things that are helping this situation, and then we can transition into any limitations or areas of improvement before we go forward. So first off, I just want to ask you, what do you see are your strengths in the midst of this situation?
I mean, obviously choosing to take care of the baby. I know a lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of that's knowing that I have a strong support system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But also, like, I'm scared. I mean, who wouldn't be? I'm 2 months away from being a mother at 15. It's a crazy thought and idea, and how you handle that in a world that's telling you shouldn't have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely tell that you're prioritizing your baby over everything else, and I love to see that. yeah, I can tell that you guys already have a strong relationship. And yeah, that's something that we would love to foster here at the group home. I also think just, I can see that you are able to talk about your situation, and have seemed to feel comfortable sharing things with me. You just shared that you feel scared, which is totally understandable and totally normal. And so props to you for being able to share those things with me. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to put that under your strengths as well, because that's really important.
Well, it's not hard to hide when you're pregnant.
Okay. So yeah, I have that you are prioritizing your baby, that you have a strong support system. I went ahead and added, if it's okay with you, that you also have financial supports from people like your boyfriend and your dad, it seems like, which I definitely think are strengths in this situation. And then yeah, just being able to share about your situation and your feelings. Okay. So now we can talk a little bit about any limitations or barriers to your situation. So these could be things such as, if there are still financial barriers that we can talk about, the fact that maybe it has been affecting your schoolwork, and yeah, things like that. Are there any things that you see there?
Well, obviously school's a thing. I don't want to be some deadbeat mom like my mother. So which is why it's a big thing to go back to school, maybe when all of this is kind of settled. And just, prioritizing my mental health going forward so that I don't turn out like my mother, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm hearing you say that sort of the example, the model that you had of motherhood was not ideal, and so sort of just breaking away from that and being able to learn new skills, helpful things that are going to improve the situation for you and your baby. Okay. Yeah, that's a big one. That's something that we do try to focus on here at the group home, just making sure new mothers feel equipped to sort of lead their own journey in motherhood instead of just following what they've always known or always have seen. So I like that you brought that up. Are there any other limitations or barriers besides school and that sort of poor model of motherhood that we have?
I think maybe a big thing would be I'm leaving my siblings behind, and that's really hard as the older sister to leave your siblings behind in a place that's not safe.
Yeah,
would be a big thing moving forward. Is the farther forward I get, the more distance I put between me and them.
Yeah, that can be really hard, because I heard you say that you were sort of their support system, so it can be really difficult to feel like you are leaving them behind, especially when you've been through so much, and so you probably have an idea of what they might be facing in the near future or might be going through right now. So yeah, that's definitely something that we can sort of talk about and navigate and explore together, but thank you for bringing that up for this section. Okay, so we have a really good start here. Thank you for being willing to share everything with me today. Is there anything else that you feel like maybe we glazed over that we could talk about more, or something that we missed entirely that we can discuss?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Pregnancy brain, it's a little fuzzy, you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, I can share with you my contact so that if you do feel like you need to reach out about something, then we can do that for sure. Before we end today here, I did just want to get your date of birth because that was something that we didn't have yet.
Good job.
April 13th, 2008.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And so yeah, I think this interview has been really helpful to sort of explore how the group home and you, Eleanor, might work well together, and also just things that we need to be cognizant of moving forward. So thank you for coming in today. We will be in touch about meeting again probably within the next few days. We'll reach out about that to schedule a meeting next week again. So yeah, if you don't have any other questions for me, I think we're good to go.
Can you point me in the direction of your restroom?
Yes, I can walk you there. That's no problem. Okay.